Hello dear students, we are going to talk about the equilibrium constant and its relationship with the standard free energy, and we will see that both of these values help us to understand the nature of chemical reactions. So let's revise the concept that the composition of the reacting system would tend to continue to change until the point of equilibrium is achieved. And at the point of equilibrium, the concentration of the reactants and products is exactly equal, or we can say that the rate of forward and reverse reaction is exactly equal, meaning that there is no further net change occurring in the system. The number or the value that expresses the relationship between the amount of the product and the reactants that are present in the equilibrium in a reversible reacting system is known as the equilibrium constant. The value is depicted by KEQ, meaning the equilibrium constant. So let's try to understand this with an example. Let's assume that we have a reacting system where capital A and capital B are the reactants and small a and small b represent their molar concentrations, whereas capital C and D are the products of the reaction and their molar concentrations are depicted by small c and small d respectively. So when the reaction is at equilibrium, the equilibrium constant can be depicted by the following equation, where you can see that this is the ratio of the concentration of the reactants to that of the products. And remember that when this system was not at equilibrium, then there would be a driving force to move it towards equilibrium or to bring the equilibrium condition, and the magnitude of that particular force is expressed as delta G, or the free energy change. Now let's consider that the standard free energy change of a chemical reaction is simply an alternative way to express its equilibrium constant. And both of these values can be related by the following equation, which says that the changes in standard free energy is equal to minus R into T into the log natural of equilibrium constant, where R is the gas constant and its value is 8.31 calorie per mole into Kelvin. T is the standard temperature and the value of standard temperature is 25 degrees centigrade or 298 Kelvin, and K prime EQ is the equilibrium constant and its value can be calculated by the concentration of the reactants and the products. So keeping this equation in view, we can say that if the value of equilibrium constant for a chemical reaction is equal to 1 and we put 1 here, then we know that the log natural of 1 is equal to 0, and when we multiply this 0 with the value of R and T, it is going to give us a total value of delta G equal to 0, which indicates that in this situation the reaction is under equilibrium condition. On the other hand, if the value of equilibrium constant of a reaction is greater than 1, this means that the value of delta G is negative and the reaction would proceed in a forward direction. Whereas if the value of equilibrium constant is less than 1, then the value of delta G will be positive and the reaction will proceed towards the reverse direction. Now let's take the example of a biological reaction, which will help us to understand how we can use this equation to calculate the value of delta G. So let's consider the reaction where glucose 1-phosphate is converted into glucose 6-phosphate. So what we are given is that the starting concentration of glucose 1-phosphate, meaning the reactant, is 20 millimolar and there is no glucose 6-phosphate in the beginning, whereas at the equilibrium state the concentration of glucose 6-phosphate is 19 millimole, which means that at this point the concentration of reactant would be 1 millimole. And now if we want to calculate the delta G value for this reaction, we have to first calculate the value of equilibrium constant, which can be easily calculated in this way. So you put the value of R, you put the value of T, and then you put the value of equilibrium constant that you have calculated, and you multiply these, and what you get is minus 7.3 kilojoule per mole, which indicates that the reaction occurs with the release of free energy and it will proceed in the forward direction. Now let's consider this chemical reaction at an equilibrium condition. So equilibrium का क्या मतलब है कि at the point of equilibrium the value of delta G is equal to 0. And when the value of delta G is equal to 0, this means that the system is at equilibrium and there will be no more work that can be done by this reaction. So for this reaction, delta G is a variable because of the fact that delta G will change according to the concentration of the reactants. Whereas delta G prime naught, or the change in the standard free energy, is a constant value, because we said that the standard free energy is determined only when the initial concentration of each component is equal to 1 mole. So the actual free energy and the standard free energy of a reaction can be related by this equation, which says that delta G, meaning the changes in the actual free energy, is equal to delta G prime naught minus R into T into log natural of the ratio of the products and the reactants, which can be elaborated in a better way here. In this equation, the concentration of the reactants and the concentration of products represents the mass of the reactants and the products. And this ratio of the products and reactants is termed as the mass action ratio or the reaction quotient. The reaction quotient or the mass action ratio is denoted by capital Q, and by replacing this value with Q, the equation becomes delta G is equal to delta G prime naught plus R into T into log natural of Q. Now let's suppose that the reaction that we just wrote is under the standard conditions, but the concentration of the reactants and the products in this reaction is neither equal to each other nor it is equal to 1 molar, meaning the concentration of the reactants and the products are not under the standard conditions. So now if we want to calculate the value of delta G at the point of equilibrium for a spontaneous reaction, meaning which is moving towards the right direction of the equation, then what we will do is that we will put the actual concentration of the reactants and products but the standard values of delta G, R and T. In this situation, when the reaction starts, then it means that the value of delta G is negative, and as soon as the equilibrium will be achieved, it will be 0. अब इस रिएक्शन में क्या है कि जब ये रिएक्शन स्टार्ट हुआ तब reactants have got their maximum concentration, whereas as soon as the equilibrium state approaches, concentration of reactants will be reduced and the concentration of the products will be increased. And what else happens, that there is no more driving force, meaning that the value of delta G is equal to 0. So at this situation, when the value of delta G is equal to 0, the equation can be written in this way. We put the value of delta G equal to 0, we write the equilibrium concentration of the products and the reactants, which is equal to equilibrium constant, and delta G prime naught becomes equal to minus R into T into log natural of equilibrium constant. And now you know that this is the equation which relates the standard free energy change and the equilibrium constant and how it is derived. Now coming to the point that the standard free energy changes for a reaction are additive in nature. What does this mean? So this fact is applicable only for the reactions which occur in a sequence. For example, the reactant A gives rise to the product B and B changes to the product C, which means that the overall reaction can be written like this, that it is actually A which is converted into C. So in this kind of reactions, each intermediate step has got its own value of standard free energy, and these values can be added to each other to find out the total value of the standard free energy. As you can see here, that the total standard free energy for the sequential reaction will be equal to the standard free energy of first step plus the standard free energy of the second step. And this kind of reactions are known as the coupled reactions because of the fact that the reaction proceeds through the common intermediate. Now let's take the example of synthesis of glucose 6-phosphate from glucose. The value of delta G is equal to 13.8 kilojoule per mole for this reaction, meaning it has got a positive value which indicates that under the standard conditions the reaction will not tend to proceed spontaneously. But there is another cellular reaction which is the hydrolysis of ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphorus, and this is a highly exergonic reaction. So these two reactions share the common intermediates, that is inorganic phosphorus and water, and they can be written together in this way, which means that the value of standard free energy that will be generated during this reaction, it will be the sum of energies released or consumed in both steps. Here the net amount of energy which is released is the sum of 13.8 kilojoule per mole and minus 30.5 kilojoule per mole respectively, which are the amount of energy either consumed or produced during these reactions. And the value indicates that the overall reaction is exergonic, which means that in this situation the energy which was stored in ATP, it is used to drive the synthesis of glucose 6-phosphate. Like we said before, that delta G is a way to express the equilibrium constant for a reaction. So for the reactions which we discussed above, the equilibrium constant for the first step is equal to 3.9 into 10 to the raised power minus 3 per mole, and you can see that here water is not included in the expression because of the fact that its molar concentration is considered to be unchanged during the reaction. And the equilibrium constant for the hydrolysis of ATP is equal to 2 into 10 to the raised power 5 mole. And if we want to find out the equilibrium constant for the two coupled reactions, then it can be found by multiplying these values, and we get the final value of 7.8 into 10 to the raised power 2. So what we have understood from these reactions is that the overall value of delta G for the coupled reaction is additive in nature, whereas the value of equilibrium constant is the product of the individual values of equilibrium constants of two reactions, meaning the value of equilibrium constant is multiplicative, and the energy which was stored in ATP is used to drive the synthesis of glucose 6-phosphate, even though the formation from glucose to glucose 6-phosphate was an endergonic reaction. But this kind of strategy will work only if the energy providing compound like ATP is continuously available. And by the end, we have to get familiar with some of the important terminologies. So, what is a homogeneous chemical reaction? The chemical reactions in which the reactants and the products are in the same phase, they are known as the homogeneous chemical reactions. Meaning, अगर किसी reaction में reactants भी solid phase में हैं और products भी solid phase में हैं, तो वो एक homogeneous chemical reaction. Whereas, what is a heterogeneous chemical reaction? It can have the reactants and the products in either two or more phases. Meaning, for example, reactants liquid form में थे, लेकिन जब products आए, some of them assume the gas phase. In that case, the reaction is known as the heterogeneous chemical reaction. And what is the Le Chatelier principle? The Le Chatelier principle is also known as the equilibrium law, and it states that when a system which is at equilibrium, it undergoes some kind of disturbances. For example, the disturbance in the concentration or the temperature or the pressure, then it will respond to this reaction in a way that it will assume a new equilibrium state. यानी इसमें एक new equilibrium point set हो जाएगा and the reaction will adjust itself. This is the end of present lesson. Thank you.